Hey friends, I'm going to be working on this little witchy scene, and hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah. I'm not a super skilled painter. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know what works and what doesn't work for me, and as I go along, I learn something new every single time. So this channel is not for you to... This channel is learning how to do things in art. I've always been an artistic person, but as I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate my me time. And in my me time, I like to paint. It's calming. It gets me out of my head. It's really easy in the world that we live in today to get lost in all of the hustle and bustle. And this is what takes me out of all of that. And I think that's important for people. You know, you might have something else, but chances are if you've came here to this channel, it's because you appreciate art and creativity also, or maybe you just thought this was a cool painting, or I don't know. I don't know why you're here, but thank you for coming. Anyway, I'm not a super artsy lady. I've only been like professionally painting for about a year now, maybe a year and a couple of months. And yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm really happy that you came here. So I hope you'll stick around and watch me paint some stuff. And right now I'm working on this. Typically my pieces are a lot more vibrant and colorful, and I'm more than happy to share my pieces with you guys. I kind of wish I would have started this channel when I started painting all of those. I do have a TikTok that you can check out. It's s.d.davis. And there's a lot of videos of me doing time lapses and as I've gone along. But since this new TikTok ban is coming up, I was like, you know what? I should go ahead and get on YouTube and see if people want to watch me over there. So far, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. So if you're going to start a YouTube channel, you should just do it. Just do it. I mean, maybe someone will watch you, maybe they won't. And you never know what you can bring to the table. Like, everyone has their own set of qualities and knowledge that other people don't have. And if you judge yourself too harshly and you hold yourself back, then you might be holding back other people, and that's just not fair. So anyway, that's my long intro. Also, it's super weird over here, so don't judge. But or judge if you want to, I don't care. This is just the way it is. I'm gonna be working on this guy. And what I like to do is I usually like to get me a reference photo, let's see, for like the lighting. Oh crap, what have I done? Oh no, I don't really know how to use this tablet. Okay, so I'm looking at this to try to get an idea of like the lighting and the candle on top of the skull's head and like the colors that are going to kind of bounce off of his head. And also I'm going to make some drips on all of these candles. I'm just not going to do that quite yet because I want to get, for me, it's like a better visual of where it's at in space. Like, this kind of looks like it's in a weird spot. It's not on top of the head, but I might turn some of this into drippy stuff where it's just kind of dripping. I like to do a lot of drips in my paintings, so that's going to be real fun. I'm excited about that part. Anyway, this is stumbling along, learning as we go. Nobody's perfect. And honestly, I'm going to tell you a secret. Nobody knows what they're doing until they know what they're doing. So if you think you can't do something because you don't know how to do it, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And don't do that. Everybody sucks when they first start anything that they start. Everyone does. I don't care who it is. They all suck. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a lot of lighter colors up in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of that's too thin. A little bit of this real light white color up in here. and definitely some of it down in this area. And then we're just going to progressively get a little bit darker as we go down this candle in different spots. So this is going to be a little bit darker right here. A little darker right there. A little bit right there. You know, I need that to be a little bit darker. Or you know what? I might make that candle a little thinner. Actually, this is going to be a good little drip, and we'll have it kind of go over the skull. That's what'll kind of give it like that dripping, more 3D look, is I'll have the drips going in different directions. You'll see. Drips are fun, but they're also very unpredictable. Still fun. Okay. A little bit darker yellow colors as we get down to the bottom of the candle. And then I'm going to use this burnt sienna. Oh, something that might be interesting for you to know is if you look on the backs of your paints, this right here, this tells you the level of transparency that it is. Let me find a couple of different ones. Okay. So this yellow ochre, this is opaque. See? It is, actually, that might be the color I'll use at the bottom of this candle. I might mix a little bit of the burnt sienna in with that. But so this is going to have really good coverage because it is opaque. This is transparent. Then there are some that are semi-transparent. Most paints though are going to be either or. Let me see. This is, okay, so this color is semi-transparent, and I'm not sure what the marker is on this brand of paint. Let me look on the back for a second. It just tells you it's semi-transparent. But usually there's like a block or a circle just to kind of have like a real simple visual aid like this right here. I like visual aid. Helps me to understand things a little better. Oh, here we go. Cadmium yellow. It's semi-transparent. So we've got opaque. We've got semi-transparent. And we've got transparent. You guys see those on there? I hope so. Anyway, so I'm going to grab some of this yellow ochre. And it's kind of a little, I'm going to put some on this messy palette over here. And a little bit of this ambery burnt sienna color too. The burnt sienna color is transparent. So it'll kind of not, I think it might work better for this little glowing area down here, mixed in with some of this yellow. But if you mix like a semi-transparent paint with a transparent paint, it's gonna not be as transparent anymore. If you mix it with opaque with transparent, it's not gonna be transparent anymore. So just keep that in mind. Okay, yeah, I like the yellow ochre a lot better. That makes more sense. See, it's a little too dark. So we're going to start at the bottom of the candle, which is probably going to be right about here. And we're going to go bloop, bloop, bloop. And I realize it looks real messy, real, just like I don't know what I'm doing. And that's why we're here, guys. That's why we are here. We're learning, we're not judging, but you can judge if you want, I don't care. But this is why we're here. And what I'm gonna do is, now that I've got that down there, I'm just gonna kind of pull this up a little bit to blend it in with the candle. See how that looks? It gives it a nice, like, three-dimensional aspect to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more over here. have that base of the candle like really a solid line of where the base is. And that's kind of how the candles will be anyway, because they're going to be glowing up at the top. They're not going to be so glowy at the bottom. And then what I'll do is after all this dries, when I do my drips, they're going to be more of the inside candle color. Because this right here is, God, what is that called? This is like the light. This is the dark side. So the candle is not that dark color that you see. It's this mid-range color. But because there's so much light coming from the light source, it casts a shadow. That's the cast shadow color. So anyway, it's a little bit of artsy fartsy stuff that I do know I will share with you guys. Anyway, we're going to do that on all the candles. They're all going to have this nice little like underglow cast shadow down here. I'm just going to go through and put this on all of them really quick like. And then as it goes along, I'll blend it down a little bit more, but we just want to get like a nice solid base on these candles right here. I think this one is going to be a little bit more darkness that comes up, since it's not only the bottom part of the candle, but it's also behind these books. So that'll give it some depth too. We're going to sneak a little bit of this in here in between these two candles. Uh-oh, got a little bit of paint on here. Y'all want to see my famous erasing? And erased. It's as simple as that. You just do it. Okay. I might do a little bit darker back there on those back candles. I might change my mind later, but we'll just see. We'll just see how that works out. This is what we're doing for now. A little bit more of that yellow ochre back here on this guy. We need more paint than that. I'm always bad about not putting enough paint on my brush, but it's because I do a lot of like blending, and I add a lot of layers, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it just makes more sense. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about reference photos. Obviously, you don't want your painting to look like you're trying to copy someone else's painting. But it's always okay to draw inspiration from paintings. Like, this is my own drawing. But I did look at different skulls, different shapes of skulls. But you can see my skull has its own shape to it. And different candles. You know, obviously, you've seen a candle like this before. I can't be like, I created this. You've never seen this before. And surely you have seen candles, right? We've all seen candles. But don't copy other people's work. Don't try to make yours exactly like it. Change something about it. Make it more unique. Make it your own. Nobody wants a piece of art that is super derivative and looks exactly or almost exactly like someone else's piece of art. That's why people buy art. You know, they want a unique piece that's special to them. And people are not going to connect with your art if you're just copying off of other people's stuff. So I highly recommend using reference photos, but I also recommend making sure that you are putting your own voice into the painting. You don't want yours to just be like, oh, it looks exactly like this person or that person. You don't want to do that. People will not like your art. And also, you're not finding your own voice as an artist, you know? It's really important that we all come to the table with our own thing that we have to say. And you can't do that if you're just copying off of the last guy, you know what I'm saying? You're just repeating. Sometimes you know, that's how we learn as we go. I mean, that's kind of why I sometimes like to do fan art, but I don't really like to do it very often because it's not my characters, it's not my art. And you know what, something I'm doing right now that's not actually very smart to do also is I want this candle to be in front of that candle, but I'm painting both of them at the same time. That's going to make them kind of bleed into one another. So I'm going to stop doing that now because that is bad. That is bad practice. But yeah, when you're creating something, it's perfectly acceptable to look at other people's art, draw inspiration from them, but do something that is unique to you. Don't just make yours look exactly like someone else's. That's boring, and it's not okay to do. Like it's not. You're stealing someone else's creative like intellectual property in that aspect if you do that. So don't do that. But if I get on, I actually was thinking about doing tutorials. What do you guys think about that? Let me know. Let me know if you'd like to follow along with me on a tutorial. I realize this is kind of tutorial-ish, but this is really just me making my own painting and you're watching me do it. I was thinking of doing a tutorial of like, I don't know, like a Christmas scene of some kind, since it's Christmassy time. You know, I kind of like that stuff with my kids sometimes. Something that's like for all ages. I think anyone can be an artist. Anyone can paint. Anyone can do it. You can. You don't think you can, you're wrong. You can do it. Every person has something creative within them that's just dying to get out. Set it free. Set it free. Let your creative bones. Okay, terrible. Let your creative bones come to life. Okay, we're going to start back here first because we want to start with the object that is furthest away. And remember to keep painting like this. Because sometimes it's hard for me. Because I'll just get carried away and just get lost in the painting. And I know this candle's a little wonky here, but I'm going to have a drip come off the side of that one too. A little bit lighter. And a little bit lighter. And much lighter. Right around that candle. We want it to kind of glow. Alrighty, it's looking pretty good. Now we're gonna go to this guy, and this one, I like to paint the edges of my paintings because you never know if someone's gonna frame it or if they're just gonna hang it on the wall as is. And I would hate for someone to get a painting of mine and hang it on the wall and the edges are not done. Like I have a painting over there that I did not do the edges on and it's driving me crazy. So I'm probably going to do the edges. It's going to take a lot of work because there's like a process to painting edges and layering and stuff, and I've already gone past that stage. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So thrilled to have to do that now. Okay, it's a little too much, not enough white, a little too much yellow happening up in this candle. I'm going to pull it up and over. There we go. How's that looking? How's that looking, guys? You liking it? It's pretty good, pretty good. Okay, now we're going to do this guy, because this is my next candle, and it's going to be right about there. A little bit more yellow. Pull that down. There we go. It's looking pretty good. I think I want it to just kind of go like right about there. And then I'm going to paint this guy in front of it. But right now we're focusing on that back candle. We're focusing on the back, focusing on the back. We're not thinking too far ahead. Okay, I need more white, I think. I think I want this to go a little further over this way. A little fatter candle. A little bit bigger. Alrighty, I think I like the way that's looking. I'm gonna do some more white on this guy in the back. Oops, there might be too much white. Well, you know what the good thing is about painting? If you make a mistake or you don't like something, you can just paint over it. And I think I'm gonna have, like, my candles are gonna kind of, like, the wicks are gonna be, they're gonna be in the candle, like down here, and then the flame's gonna come up in front of them. You'll see, you'll see. It'll look really neat. I just have to figure out how exactly I'm gonna do that. But I know I want most of the light to be coming from the inside of the candle, right in there, like that. Because they're all kind of melting. Or as my sister would say, milting. She's so cute. Okay, now we're gonna move on to this candle, which is gonna have a lot of white in this section. And like right about here. Okay, and as we go along, I want that edge to be a little more visible, so we're going to add some yellow to this guy, and then some of that yellow ochre down here. Let's dry that off a smidge. We're going to pull it up from the bottom. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I talk a little bit about, you don't have to leave your painting just sitting here. You don't have to leave it there. If you can't get a good angle, move it. Change the direction. It is perfectly acceptable to do that. Everyone who paints knows that sometimes you gotta just move it. Oh no! You see that bright yellow? That was an accident. So here's what we're gonna do. What you're gonna do is get a sort of dry brush and blend in some of that white. The other thing I could have done is, if I was already like done with that area, I could have just like just used a wet brush and just pulled it right off. But I needed that yellow to go in there a little bit anyway, because I'm trying to make this like background colors. And you can see I'm getting a little bit of this paint on these other books. They're not done yet. They're pretty close to done. Like, I'm going to do some gold trim and some gold writing on the edges. This book is not even close to done, and neither is the table. Like, there's lots of work to go on this painting. People look at painters and they're like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? It's just so great. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of time that goes into painting. It's not just like slapping some paint on a canvas and it's good to go. I mean, you can paint like that, but most painters are going to take quite some time to complete a painting. And, you know, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I'm putting a little bit more depth to these candles, I think, you know. I think it looks good. I like it. So I'm just going to keep rolling with it. I've got a pretty dry brush here, so I'm going to blend in some of this darker yellow ochre color. I don't want too much of it on my brush for some of these front candles, but this back one can have a lot more on it because it's behind. Up until it gets to where the next flame is, you don't want to do that because then that's confusing. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it dark and then it's light where it doesn't, your painting has to make sense. You know, the light source has got to make sense. I'm not quite sure how to make this candle look like it's in front of that one. I don't know. We'll just not worry about it because it's back there, and right now I just want to get these nice little dimensions in here of different shades and stuff. I think that's looking pretty good so far. Maybe a little bit of this in there because it's back behind everything. I think that gives it a nice little, make a little bit more sense kind of for the color of these candles. Oops, that was a little too much. How's that look, guys? Oh, hey, that looks pretty good on camera, huh? Sweet. I think we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, we're definitely getting there. That's looking pretty good, I think. Get a little bit more of this over here, this yellow ochre on this side, because this candle is going to be getting more light on this other side over here. See, light is kind of coming from this midline area. And sometimes I make mistakes when it comes to lighting and I have to go back and fix it. And you know what? It's okay. That's why we're learning here on this channel. This is a learning channel. And you won't get any judgment from me if you make a mistake. Because I'm making mistakes all day, every day. And that's okay. You're not living if you're not making mistakes. I'm going to kind of try to pull some of that color out of there. That's too much yellow. You know what? We're just going to add some white to it because that'll tone it down a little bit. Yeah. Work like a charm. I think that looks pretty good. I don't know. I might go back to this yellow ochre on this side too. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Is my skull in front of my candles or is it right next to my other candles? I don't know. I think that looks pretty good. All right. Well, I think that's it for this one, guys. May not seem like there was a lot done. Actually, I need to do those two guys, don't I? Let's do that real quick. Psych! If y'all didn't grow up in the 90s, you don't know what psych means, but psych means just kidding. Okay, now this candle is going to go right about there. And we want, whoops, a little bit of yellow. Yeah. A nice little glow to it. And yeah, you're not supposed to rest your hand on your painting, but this is all dry. That's the beauty of acrylics, but it's also kind of the crux of acrylics, they dry really fast, so you got to kind of work pretty quickly with whatever you're doing. Okay, now I want to just put white in here because this candle is going to go right about there. And it's going to go maybe a little bit higher on this little edge on the side here, I think. Yeah. Yep, we're doing it. Because obviously once you light candles, especially these like tall, wide pillar candles, they're going to just, they're going to be a little misshapen. They're not like perfect edges anymore once they start melting. So I think I want to put a little bit more white on this part right here too. There we go. That's good. Very nice. More white glowing in there. Now I'm whispering like someone's gonna hear me. Okay, and then this candle has got quite a bit of drippage that it's gonna have, but also it's like really far gone. This one's gonna have a lot of wax just like coming off of there. Anyway, and see, people are always like, why are they charging so much for their paintings about art? If you don't create art, you don't really understand how much actually goes into the final product. It's not just like, oh, let's just do a drawing and then slap it together and it's done. There's a lot of planning that goes into whatever you're making. You know, so next time you want to buy a piece of art or something, you're like, golly, why is it so expensive? That's why. It's a lot of time, you know. You want to get compensated for your time. But I think that's looking pretty good so far, guys. What do you think? I like it. I think it's looking great. This one's also going to have a lot of drippage right in this area. You know, I'm going to fix that little back edge of this candle so I don't have to come back to that. And then we're done for today. Oh, never have enough paint on my brush. Okay, I think that's good. Anyway, thanks for joining me. This is kind of a long one, but that's what we got so far, guys. I like it. Okay, bye.